I signed a 1-year deal, came to win the Stanley Cup. It was really fun because Craig Patrick was like, okay, we're going to give you these bonuses for plus player, plus this. And I'm like, well, that's good, Craig. But I said, I really want one bonus. He goes, what's that? I said, win the Stanley Cup. And just come in there to win the Stanley Cup with Mario, and that's it. He goes, well, we're giving you a bonus for the Stanley Cup, you know, $10,000 bonus. I said, well, that's nice. But I said, I want a big bonus. I want that big bonus. Well, what do you want? I said, I want the same thing as Mario. He's like, I can't do that. I said, well, give me half then. So he wrote 50% of Mario's Lemieux's bonus for winning Stanley Cup, and then you forget about it. It's in the contract, eh? And all of a sudden, I get like a $250,000 signed bonus in June.
That's
Came
nuts.
out. I'm like, what's this for? He goes, well, you got 50% of Mario's Stanley Cup.
Goodness, that's nice.
I'm like, thank you, Mario.
Well, I mean, I got to bring up, I mean, I must have watched 5,000 times the clip of you and Artie Stevens, Kevin Stevens, just giving it to Brian Bellows.
Bellows, you must be really hurt. No problem. Get off the ice. Get off the ice, you pussy. You're the best. Fucking lay on the ice. You're the fucking best, Bellows. You lay on the ice like a superstar. You lay on the best, Bellows. Get my balls, you fucking tit fucker.
When that first hit the internet and you started realizing people saw that, what was your reaction? And it's amazing shit talk. I mean, we used it in the Sandbagger recently.
You know, what's comical is I go to schools and I talk to the kids and, you know, tell them to make healthy choices, you know, and like, you know, stay in school, continue your education. And then some little kid will say, oh, I saw you and Steven giving it to Bellows. And I'm like, that was computer generated. If you read my lips, actually what I'm saying is, and the kids kind of buy it a little bit. But so you always have to be careful, you know, what you're going to, you don't know where that mic's going to be. And so I don't know how they caught that, but yeah, no, that wasn't one of my proudest moments. Even my mom was like, is that really you saying? I said, I don't think so, Mom. I think it's computer generated. So the kids and my mom thinks it's computer generated, but, we all know it a little bit better.
I don't know. That's how it was. I mean, there was the Stanley Cup's on the line. It's a nasty sport out there. It doesn't mean you didn't like the guy off the ice.
Well,
Brian Bellows and I, we've done a few events together, and you know, it's just water under the bridge, no big deal. Like, you know, his buddies are like, hey, you know, they're a little bit jealous of me. I'm like, okay, good, or whatever. You know, like some of the names that get called, we all get called names, and not a big deal. And I think you know, that moment where you're like trying to get in someone's grill or get them off their game or unfocused or whatever. I remember Rick Taka was screaming at Brian Marchment one time. You know that dreaded face-off by the bench when you're the defenseman by the bench, you're the opposition's bench, and where you're that winger that's by the bench, and they just start ripping on you,
getting water squirted on you.
Oh, yeah, I know, and it's just so bad. And Taka was like, Marchment, you touch any one of our players, I'm going to hunt you down this summer. I know where you live. And I'm like, after the game, I'm like, Talk, do you really know where he lives? Like, he goes, nah, I was just trying to like get him off. Like, holy cow, I believed you. I was like, holy cow. But no, there's that moment. That's it's intense out there. You're right, Ryan.
Yeah, you could just tell the young kids it's a deep fake. That they'll buy it this day and age. But were you generally a chirper on the bench or on the ice?
No, Kevin started that whole thing. He goes, give it to him, Trotz. And I'm like, give it to him. What? I'm just an innocent bystander next thing you know, but it's I got revved up. Got caught up in the moment.
Oh, man.
Now, when you get in the locker room like that, you know, you're an older guy toward the end of your career, but you got two superstars in Mario and Jäger. Like, do you play like a de facto captain role? Do you kind of like mind your business for a bit? How does that work out when you have such a super player in the locker room like that, or two of them?
Well, it's so good because like if there's a more gracious person in the world than Mario, I've yet to meet him, but Mario's respect and like he was good. Like I found a way early, like with Mario, and we had crisscrossed paths a couple of times before, and there's always kind of a polite nod and that kind of stuff. And on the ice, it was always kind of a polite thing. Like I never hit Mario. I think I bumped him once, and vice versa. Like Mario's a purist. He's one of the players, you know, you play hockey and that's just the way he plays. And he has that respect. And, but when I went to Pittsburgh, I told Mario, I said, Mario, you got big man presence, you know, like, and he's a really quiet guy. And I said, you got to say something just before the game, stand up and go, let's go, boys. And just see what the room does. So he looked at me, winks, and he stands up, let's go, boys. And the room just electrified. And so I think that was kind of our immediate bond. And kind of explained to him why I came to Pittsburgh, because I wanted to win a cup with him. I think you're that close. Then we win. So like with Mario and young Yager was my roommate, and he's just an 18-year-old kid. He called me Big Brian, which is hilarious. Like he's 6'4", I'm like 5'11", and he's this monster with big hair. And hey, Big Brian, where we go by breakfast? And I'm like, okay, young Yarmer, here we go. Let's see, follow me. But he was just kind of I was a little bit like his mentor until we got Yuri Herdina, and then Yuri kind of took over because he could speak the same language. But Yarmer's English wasn't that good, and my Czechoslovakian was horrible. But, we communicated just because we played together, and, he kind of had a general respect. But Ron Francis came, and, we had a whole bunch of leadership in that room, and it was really kind of wonderful. And it didn't fall on one person. It fell on a group. And I think that's what happens in a locker room. You guys know that. If it's one guy wears the C, it's not just one guy. Like there's a whole bunch of leaders in that locker room, whether you wear a letter or not. You're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So smart talk, smart leaders know how to go either inspire by performance, inspire by just saying the right thing at the right time, and that's what it's all about. And that's what made it special in Pittsburgh and New York, because there was a whole bunch of leadership in the locker rooms.
Little different than having Bossy as a roommate when you come back and Yaga's got a strip poker party going on in the locker room.
Oh my God, he was hilarious because he learned all his English from MTV. So like I'd walk in the room, he'd have MTV blasting, and it's so comical because like when he'd do an interview the next day, they say something to Yarmer like, Yarmer, how do you like Pittsburgh? He goes, I like cherry pie. I think it was Motley Crue or Warrant or somebody. It was the music at the time. I like cherry pie. I'm like, he's so comical.
Were you trying to get him to cut his salad when you were with him?
Oh, everything he said didn't matter where it had a line from a song. Like it was just so he memorized all the lines from the song, and he'd be walking through the locker room and trying to speak English, and he was just basically singing a line from a song, and but he was no, he didn't need any help when it come to, but he loved sugar. You know that movie Elf? Like when he like, do you like sugar? He's putting syrup and sugar and everything on his pasta, drinking straight Coca-Cola. That was Yarmer. Like he had these sugar buns. His mom made him sugar buns. It was like eating sugar. Like I had one bite and I was wired for the whole game. He'd eat 6 of these things before a game. And I said, no wonder this kid's like high performance. He's like on high test sugar. But no, he's a great kid. Love him when he's 18. I still love the kid. What is he now? 55 or whatever.
Still playing, man. He's still getting it done in check.
What an athlete. Yeah, he's a great kid.
He's like the Euro version of Howe. Just getting it done at all ages, man.
Yeah, just loves the game.
Did people not talk to Tom Barrasso on game days when he was playing, or any day for that matter?
We didn't talk to Billy Smith on game days because Billy Smith was in the zone, and you didn't bother him. You didn't even eyeball him on game day. Tommy was. I sat next to Tommy in the locker room in Pittsburgh, and I got along great with Tommy. And you can misread Tommy, and Tommy can kind of put you off if he wants to. He can kind of send you off thinking, I don't like you. But Tommy's an intense person, let alone hockey player, but he's a goaltender. What do we say about goaltenders?
Weirdos.
A bunch of wackos.
They're special. But Tommy's a great guy. Again, good dad. I loved him as a teammate. And he's just one of those guys, big hearts. Every Christmas he comes in, he's got a bottle of this for you, a big bottle of wine for you, a bottle of bourbon for the coach. And Tommy's just a great, generous guy. But he can be misread every once in a while.
You were there for that celebration. I think it might even been at Mario's house when the cup ended up at the bottom of the pool.
Oh my God. That started at the Point Park. We started at the Point Park at the celebration, and what it would, 100,000 people down at Point Park. They probably fit 10,000 people. And we had a big celebration down there. And then I don't get home for 3 days, and I'm under every bridge with Phil Bourque, and we're rafting on all these boats and going to another party, and I'm seeing another sunrise. And I'm like, I'm going to be yelled at when I get home. Anyway, we end up at Mario's place later that one day, and he go, okay, we're going to Mario's now. And there's the cup, and there's Phil Bourque at the top of Mario's waterfalls at a 20-foot fall. He goes, I want to jump George Stanley with the pool, Mario's. and we're talking him off because he's going to die, basically. He comes down, and everybody in the pool, and then we all jump in the pool, clothes, whatever we have on, and ladies, and everybody's in the pool. We all pull ourselves out of the pool after the picture or whatever, and we're in there for quite a while, and no cup. It's at the bottom of Mario's pool. We had to go dive in, and Troy Loney and I dive in and get that pool. We're pulling it up. It was very tarnished the next day. It had a little bit of chlorine tarnish on it. But that thing, if that thing could talk, and some of the stories that it could, I'm sure, but that's one of them at the bottom of Mario's pool. From the top of the waterfall of Phil Bourque to the bottom of Mario's pool, that thing had a wonderful night of celebration.